Two trades for my NRL Fantasy side heading into round two. Pretty excited about the moves. The reason I am using two is because I saved myself plenty of cash from the Preston down to Brimson. Little downgrade there. And left myself with 309k in the bank to make two moves specifically. And I haven't adjusted from those two guys. And that is Corey Horsburgh and Tom Gilbert. So David Miley and Luke Metcalf both come out the side. Feels very, very simple trades for me this week, and that was how I wanted it to be. After that game where Davy absolutely struggled, it was bye-bye, especially when Gilbert was on the other side, being able to score really well. And I'm not personally expecting Gilbert to be up near that 65 very often. I'm very much hoping that buying him, priced at 39 with the dual, and a runway of no games with buys, that I can get him at a 52 average from here on in. That would be my hope. 13 points of value, about 150k or so in price rises, and a guy that I can slot in between mid or edge very, very comfortably. And he's a fairly easy watch, given the type of role that he's going to have. The minutes will be there and the work rate will be there, and he does look like he's stepped up. And that's where in the preseason, following the injuries, I wasn't too excited because we've only seen him hit that 47 average in upwards of 63 minutes, and he had 56 on the weekend and just worked his butt off, and it was very, very impressive. There's a little bit of a worry that he does stick somewhere between that 47 mark and maybe up to 50, but he looked a different player in that game the other day, and I'm going to back that there's 5 extra points there to get into a 52, and if that's the case, he's not going to be a keeper long term, most likely, but he's going to do a great job on getting up to, or getting me up in terms of price rises to get to another gun. Davy's going to be out for that. And guys, I'm making that because that move exactly first as well. This is a good way to order your trades. Davy Miley is my definite trade out. I'd trade out Metcalf less than I would Davy. So Miley here is going to go first for Gilbert, who plays tonight. So that's a good way to lock that in. Straight in my mid position, straight to Tom Gilbert. Super simple. And the second trade, Luke Metcalf to Corey Horsburgh. I'm super excited to see him play. There's a little bit of a worry about this Broncos clash after they absolutely dominated the Roosters, but Canberra look pretty good. And if they can kind of have a back and forth type of game, I do expect Horsburgh to have a really good matchup. And he's going to have his work cut out for him Hosking, Tamale against this Broncos juggernaut that they showed in round one. But longer term anyway, Horsburgh with that type of minutes, we've seen him be a 55 to 60 point scorer when he gets the near the 60 minute mark or above that, which he could go above that this week with Tapine being out for the 2. So very, very simple trades for myself this week, and I'll show you how I've set up my bench as well. But Connor Watson up top, Yo is vice captain this week. I think Cleary's the obvious choice as captain, or Payne Haas or something like that if you wanted to go funky. Plenty of upside this week in attack against the Roosters. Gilbert is in there now with Terrell May. We have Hosking, who's also in the edge. And then I've got Seyfarth as my other guy. So I'm sticking solid with him. Happy for him to have an improved game. Anything over 40 and I'll take. Anything near 50 like we are hoping and expecting that he can get to based on previous performances in the edge position. We just need a few more run meters. If we can get up to 70 or 80, that gives him a chance to try, a chance to tackle break or two and an offload. And then just get those tackle numbers up, which they weren't there last week. So it was a double. He had no run meters, no attack, so no tackles, and then had the HIA as well. So hoping and expecting a turnaround. And if he doesn't, then we can look to move on from him next week. And that's the same with a few guys. It's easy enough to give them the extra week. And if they still don't perform, then it's pretty easy to sell them, which is great. And just on the people squad for the consensus private group side, haven't made any changes since we mentioned on Tuesday morning. So if you want to check that out, it was a pretty simple trade-in for Humphreys in that squad. Cleary is in there with Jamie Humphreys, who will be my starting half this week. Super excited about that one. Got plenty of halves on the bench still with Duffy, with Cole, and with Santa Smith, which is great. And unfortunately, no Brimson dual position as yet. But super excited about those two. Dylan Lucas and Rob Toya. I am playing Rob this week. I just think the upside's there. The 61 he got against a team that absolutely smacked him last week. And this week he does come up against potentially not even IPAP when he does come back on, but he's going to have Scott Sorensen, and he's going to have Jack Cole, he's going to have Casey McLean and Paul Alamotti. So not the most ridiculous left-hand side. I definitely think the right-hand side's a little bit stronger than what it could be. And, you're looking at, he went up against a fairly new combination on that left-hand side for the Broncos last week, and it's going to be a similar type situation, but against the best team in the comp. So I'm personally not expecting 61, but I think I'm going to take his score ahead of Stafford Towers. And if I was to set up myself up with this bench, like I can move things around. I've got Tamale on the bench right now. I could move him into the centres and move Rob Toya out, but I look at those players and I'm like, well, would I play Rob over Jack Cole, Hubner, Sanders Smith, and Stafford Toa? And the answer is yes. I have no loopers right now, no one who's out this week, unless there's a late out or something like that. And in that scenario, in that case, then I just have to play him, and I'm going to play him straight up in the centres this week. No looping, no mucking around. And now that I've done that and playing him straight up, he'll have his lowest score, obviously against the Panthers, and that's the difference there. He's playing the Panthers. Stafford Toa is playing the Eels. I could also not play him and just go for a middle forward in like a Hubner. Not super excited about playing a Sandon Smith against Cleary and Liam Martin, Isaac Tungle on that side. But I still think against a really good team, I'd play him over Cole, Sandon, just over Stafford, who I think should be able to do pretty well. But that right-hand side didn't see much ball last week either. Seyfarth was left out plenty of times. Fatape only got the ball a little bit on that right. And Taruva didn't get too much outside of his work rate. So I think in that one, I'm just happy to leave Stafford out and go with the talent in Rob Toya. Hubner would be the guy that's probably next up on my list as number 18th man. So I hope that helps you with your decisions. Yongi, I'm 100% playing this week. He plays the Tigers, so that'll be a fun matchup, and he popped up on both sides of the park, and he'll have less missed tackles as well. There should be less tries from the Tigers than there was from the Storm. That's for sure. But Brimson, Yongi, and Ponga to go along with Lucas and Toya in the centres. And then interchange is Duffy, Mamazelis, it's Horsburgh, and it is Savelio Tamale. Super excited about this squad going into round 2. I think we'll make plenty of ranks. We should definitely be in the top 10K after this week, all going well. I think the side's in a good spot. We've got plenty of guys that can score well consistently, and we have some upside guys in there with guys like Ponga. Lucas, I think, should have pretty good games up against the Dolphins, and we see if I can start well there with Ponga, Lucas, and Gilbert, I think we'll have a pretty solid week, and I'm excited for that. So I think, pretty simple with the fantasy squad this week, and then we move to the Supercoach side as well. And I am deciding just to make the one trade and get a little bit ahead of the game for next week, leaving myself with $213,000 in the bank, making one trade and going Luke Metcalf to Savelio Tamale. 232K just rounds out my center wing, given I can move Brimson up into that 5'8" slot. So I've got Cleary in the halves right now with the captaincy on with Ponga as vice. Brimson and Burton in the 5'8" slot, moving Tamale into center wing. And right now I'm playing Rob Toya and Savelio Tamale. Those two guys, it's them or it is Seyfarth and White. That's where I'm at currently. Duffy's after that along with Purdue as well. We want to see them have a bit of a better showing before I can trust them in my starting side. I did pick Purdue over Duffy last week instead of Rob Toya. I'm going to write that wrong this week, but I am still a little bit worried about the quality of attack that they can have against a really good side in the in the Panthers there, who early weeks is the time you want to go against the Panthers for sure, rather than playing him in like round 5, 6, 7 for sure. But Lucas, Marzu in this team, Garrick, Shiba, playing Tamale, and also Toya. So I think that's where the upside lies. White should score better than this. I think if this game can be a little bit closer, which who knows if it is going to be or not, then he should have more runs than he did last week, and that's where you're going to get the extra points with the two run meters, 2 points for run meters over 8, and also the tackle breaks and offloads that you might get with Nafahu. That's cool. And then Seyfarth could also do well, but I'm trusting him in fantasy, so I'm going to stick away from him. I think in this scenario, probably doesn't have the tremendous upside at the moment with the lack of ball that he's getting, and there's only so many tackles he can make Whereas these guys, as you saw, was 73 for Tamale without a try, and then 90 for Toya with a couple of try assists. He has that ceiling of 90 already, which is great. And then Shibasaki against the Raiders. I think you just have to back that in, that they're playing well, and then he can get some attacking stats. So the question is Ponga or Turbo in terms of the Vice, and I think I'm going to lock in Ponga in that first game against the Finns, who weren't that great, and New Zealand at home could be a little bit better. Turbo could be great again, but I think I'm going to go with Ponga because I'm likely captaining Nathan Cleary this week against the Roosters. I think that's where we're gonna play this one. He was very close to try assists on a few occasions, and it wasn't to be with Nath, but that's fine. We got Tino coming in, we got Brimson coming in, so I'm excited to see those guys start. Brimson v Burton, it's going to be fun. They are going to be on opposite sides though. So Brimson will be up against Sexton, and Burton will be up against Jaden Campbell there. And Campbell's someone I do want, but we'll get there eventually with Campbell. I did miss him in the buy, hold, sell video for those that were playing along, and very much expecting Hopgood and Preston to bounce back. So a big improvement for my second row forward this week would be lovely. If they can all hit over 60, I'd be very happy with that, with one of them going 80 plus. Be very helpful. Horsburgh, Terrell May, not super excited about my hookers, but it's a low scoring position, so we'll leave it there and just hope that Mammazelis is the one that jumps out of the side as 18th man. So that's my trades video for the week, guys. Let me know if you enjoyed that. You get a bit of my strategy, my thinking, and I wish you guys all the best of luck heading into tonight's clash with Newcastle at home up against the Dolphins.